Starting off this morning with some storms moving through southwest Florida. We see them on our first alert live Doppler radar. This is as expected. If you were watching yesterday, I talked about the fact that I'd be tracking storms today, and here they are. We have a little bit of a dry break for Charlotte and Lee County, while the storms now are in Collier County, stretching all the way toward Lake Okeechobee. We could still get a few more downpours that work their way in behind this main line as we continue through the morning. But right now, let's focus on that heavy rain coming down toward the Naples area, stretching across Radio Road in toward Golden Gate and the Estates, all the way up toward Immokalee Road, getting some of that heavy rain all the way south to Rattlesnake Hammock Road. There are more downpours in the Gulf. These will continue to work their way in toward the Naples area as we go through the next few minutes. Felda, Key down to Immokalee, Ave Maria. We've got showers and thunderstorms, some lightning in with this as well. You can see along Highway 82 and stretching toward the northeast all the way up to Moorhaven. You've got that band of heavy rain coming down. Here's what we're going to see as we work our way through the next hour using the Futurecast. Each of these downpours kind of sliding to the northeast as this line continues to advance deeper inland into southwest Florida. Wouldn't be surprised to get a couple of showers that develop kind of behind this line. But most of this rain, it's going to be a morning thing. By the time we get to midday, downpours are really pushing their way farther to the east, and we're starting a drying trend. So here's how it plays out with our planner today. 76 degrees at 8 a.m. Will be 77 at noon. Still a few showers around, but not near what we've seen this morning. 80 degrees at 5 p.m. as we continue the drying trend with partly cloudy skies. We'll look ahead through the weekend and keep tracking that rain in your first alert forecast on the 2s at 6:12.
Thank you, Haley. And all that rain means the roads are slick this morning for your morning commute.
That's right. Even if it's not raining on, it probably move through and cause some of those roads to be slick. Amanda Strip check here with your traffic alert, Amanda.
Well, yeah, you definitely want to make sure you have windshield wipers that work, tires that are in check this morning. We've already seen multiple crashes happening in Lee and Collier County, like this one that just popped up in Fort Myers and Gladiolus Drive and Congdon Road. You can expect some delays in that area. And LCSO is still on scene of a crash on the Edison Bridge heading northbound into North Fort Myers. There were some delays, but that seems to be clearing up as the morning continues on. I'm Amanda Skripchak with your NBC2 Traffic Alert.
While Southwest Florida has seen some rain lately, make no mistake, the conditions are still dry. We have team coverage this morning on the conditions in Cape Coral.
We have NBC2's Christina Mendez who checked back in with the city a week after it started replenishing canals. NBC2's Gabrielle Shirley getting the latest on a brush fire that sent a plume of black smoke over Cape Coral.
And those flames that Clay was just talking about, it began on a Citius Parkway and forced the Sunrise Community Assisted Living Center to evacuate. It got so intense, a firefighter was actually rushed to the hospital. We're told he should be okay.
Let's begin with NBC2's Gabrielle Shirley with the latest on that fire. Gabby?
Yes, as you said, that blaze did force evacuations at this assisted living facility here in Cape Coral, and it also sent one firefighter to the hospital with heat-related injuries. But luckily, that was the worst of it. No homes damaged in this 8-acre brush fire. Now, it started around 6 o'clock yesterday evening. It is 100% contained at this hour. Now, we're working to find out the cause of the fire. Obviously, it's extremely dry here in southwest Florida and here in Cape Coral because of those dry conditions, as well as the water restrictions that the city's dealing with. There is a burn ban in place, which means that no one can light fires outside in the open.
The people who live across the street are very nervous because, you know, if it gotten much closer and a big gust of wind came, it could have carried some burning embers over and, you know, it started a fire in their front yards.
It's a little nerve-wracking to feel like it's going to come by and, you know, take away the rest of the houses nearby.
Now, a reminder with that burn ban, it's in effect here in Cape Coral and across Lee County for right now. With that burn ban in effect, you cannot have any open fires outside. That means no bonfires, no burning trash. However, you are allowed to use your grill or a smoker. I'm reporting live here in Cape Coral. Gabrielle Shirley, NBC2.
And as Gabby just mentioned, there are several burn bans in place throughout southwest Florida, including in Cape Coral. In fact, Lee County issued a temporary burn ban earlier this week. They're going to look at whether one is still needed this coming Tuesday. Collier County and Charlotte County's burn bans are in place until commissioners decide to lift the ban.
Continuing our team coverage, today marks 1 week since water began pumping from the reservoir in Charlotte County, eventually leading into Cape Coral's freshwater canal system. Now, they started this because things are just drying up in the heat, and we haven't really had any rain except for this morning. NBC2's Christina Mendez is live along Santa Barbara Place to see if neighbors are noticing any relief from the city's solution. Christina.
Well, neighbors I spoke with are hoping that the reservoir water will give these canals some relief it really desperately needs. But I did speak to some people who say that white line you're seeing on the seawall, that's where these canals should be. So obviously still a long way to go. And meanwhile, the city is looking at permanent solutions to fix this problem.
Instead of a canal gushing with water, Adrian Ghani's view from his backyard looks more like this.
Like to be out on a boat, but ain't going nowhere now.
But the city is working to put back water where it should be. For nearly a week, 17 million gallons of water per day are being pumped from a reservoir in Punta Gorda and into a drainage ditch, traveling by gravity into the swells along US 41 and down into the Gator Slough.
It's came up maybe about 1.5 inches.
Right now I'm standing in a few inches of water, but this time last week you can see I was in the same spot here in this canal, but it was completely dried up.
Now all the water came up. It's looking better. I'm hoping we get more rain out here.
But the city isn't depending on Mother Nature. To use the Charlotte County Reservoir permanently, the price tag is estimated between $32 and $38 million. The costs coming from purchasing land, adding piping, and protecting properties in the area.
I just want to see the level of the water go up higher, because especially with the grass and everything else that's going on, it's just killing out everything.
The city says there are other less expensive options for the use of the reservoir, but that could still be in the $10 million range.
It's Cape Coral. You come here, you want to be on the water.
Even with the reservoir pumping millions of gallons to Cape Coral, 1 day a week watering restrictions are still in place. And neighbors like Ghani are pleading with people to follow the rules.
You didn't even see fish in here that much anymore. You had some manatees in here. They haven't come by in a while.
Parts of Cape Coral have seen between a ½ inch to an inch of rainwater, and I did check with our meteorologist last night, and they said that's not considered a significant amount. And now, although you may be noticing a slight increase of water in your canals, we are still not out of the woods yet. I'm live in Cape Coral this morning. Christina Mendez, NBC2.
Now here's a breakdown of how many violations have been given out since the beginning of the year. This is for the watering rules. More than 7,300 warnings, 750 second violations. Those carry a $100 fine. 39 third violations carrying a $200 fine, and 1 fourth violation carrying a $400 fine plus disconnection from the city's irrigation system. Breaking this morning, US 41 is back open after a serious crash in South Lee County. This happened in San Carlos Park near Sanibel Boulevard. Witnesses tell us the car took off out of a gas station in a hurry, ran a red light, and then was hit by a semi-truck going south on 41. We're working to find out if anyone was injured.
New right now, we have some new information about the man who's accused of kidnapping then sexually assaulting a child. We now know that child 5 years old and the child of his ex-girlfriend. This is a story we broke for you earlier this week. Fort Myers police arrested William Cole early Wednesday morning. Family says they searched for hours to find the child he's accused of kidnapping. Family then alerted Lee County deputies by midnight, just before midnight Wednesday, at 6 hours after the family says Cole had taken the child. In their search, they tell Fort Myers officers they spotted the girl with Cole, but Cole sped off. Cole's car was found then on Cranford Avenue with the young girl inside. He was arrested hiding behind a home about a block away. We talked to family friends living nearby who say Cole was living at the girl's home.
We all human. We let our husband come back, our boyfriend come back, because we trust that person.
I was really horrified. You know, I have children myself, and to know that someone so close to the area does things like that is really nerve-wracking.
Police say after the young girl spoke with her mother, they determined the girl had been sexually assaulted. Cole faces 3 charges, including kidnapping, sexual assault, and cruelty to a child. Rain and dangerous flooding are affecting millions in parts of the Midwest and Southwest this morning. Parts of Missouri and Arkansas remain underwater. Look at this. 90 state highways have been shut down in Missouri and in Arkansas. Breached levees have sent thousands fleeing to higher ground. At least 9 flooding deaths have been reported. Hundreds of homes destroyed or damaged. Flood records are still being broken this morning.
16 suspected drug dealers off Lee County streets this morning, and one of them may have fronted as a daycare owner.
In 22 minutes, we'll tell you how parents are feeling this morning about that arrest. But in just 8 minutes, Fort Myers police are now using social media to catch criminals, and you can get involved. And straight ahead, Southwest Florida's only live Doppler radar working this morning. NBC2 Chief Meteorologist Haley Webb is tracking the storms moving through parts of the area. That's in 2 minutes.
Good morning. It is time for your first alert forecast on the 2s, and we are starting off this morning with storms rolling through southwest Florida. Right now, Charlotte, Lee County, you're seeing a break from the rain as this line has made its way farther inland and farther to the south. So Naples, you're now picking up some of these heavy thunderstorms. Take a look here. You can see along Rattlesnake Hammock Road up toward Radio Road, the toll booth along 75. We've got heavy rain there, moderate to heavy rain on the south side of Naples. It gets a little lighter as you head north toward North Naples. Golden Gate Estates, lightning and heavy downpours in your area. Taking our map to the northeast, those downpours continue to stretch basically across Ave Maria, just on the south side of Immokalee, and continue to the northeast. Felda, you're starting to dry out. Still a bit of rain coming down in Key and continuing to move the map to the northeast. Clewiston getting rain, Moorhaven as well. Downpours over Lake Okeechobee. Here's what's going to happen as we go through the next hour using our futurecast. Each of these downpours kind of sliding to the northeast. This whole line working its way on toward the east as well. Still going to get some rain to come in from the Gulf of Mexico. So far this morning for many places it's been around 1/4 of an inch. We've seen up toward 1/2 of an inch where we've gotten some of the heavier downpours. I think that's going to be the general trend. Gust already 16 to 31 miles per hour, and we will continue with a windy day today. Here's the forecast mode, picking up on some of those downpours coming in, trying to pick up on a few more of them developing as we go through the morning. But this is mainly going to be a morning thing. By the time we get to the lunch hour, most of the rain is out of the picture, and we will continue the drying trend as we go through the afternoon. The high, though, only 81 degrees, and it will be windy. 82 tomorrow and partly cloudy, all the way down to 62 Sunday morning. 86 for the high on Sunday with lots of sunshine. At 6:22, I'll keep tracking the rain, and we'll look ahead to next week in your first alert forecast on the 2s.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by O'Brien Auto Park on the corner of Colonial and Metro. Or visit o'brieneasy.com.
Heads up if you're driving in Bonita Springs this morning. LCSO on scene of a crash at Bonita Beach Road and Windsor Road. There is a westbound roadblock in both of those lanes in that area, so just be aware if you're heading in that direction. Let's take a live look outside at I-75 South and Golden Gate Parkway. A lot of lights out there moving pretty good right now, but just be careful because the roads could be pretty wet, and if you start to hydroplane, just take it slow. Don't brake fast or accelerate. Just take it slow this morning on the roads. I'm Amanda Scripcheck with your NBC2 Traffic Alert.
The Fort Myers Police Department turning to social media to fight crime. They're using a lot of apps. Here's an example. An officer posted an alert on the Nextdoor app. He told people to be on the lookout for a man who is a person of interest in several car burglaries in the area. Lieutenant Jay Rodriguez says they have used that app for several years. Now they say using social media is a faster way to send out an alert.
Most importantly here, so what he did was basically, if you see this person, call the police immediately. It's a person of interest that we're looking for, a suspect in committing burglaries.
The department plans to increase its use of social media apps to keep the public informed.
Today was supposed to be the last day of the legislative session, but lawmakers will have to work a little bit longer. They could not agree on a budget, so lawmakers agreed to extend the session until Monday in order to meet the 72-hour waiting period required to pass a budget. Everything else will die at midnight. Governor Rick Scott voiced his outrage on the budget because his Republican colleagues want to wipe out the agency that brings tourists to the state. The governor spoke with NBC2 yesterday morning. You saw them on our show at 6, saying lawmakers want to cut the tourism agency. The governor says tourism brings jobs to Florida, and cutting the agency means less jobs.
When I get to see it, then I'll make that decision whether I will veto the entire budget or look at any lines to see if they're not a good use of your money.
The governor wants to give the tourism agency $100 million to operate. The House wants to reduce spending to $25 million. The governor will not say yet what he'll do when the budget makes it to his desk on Monday. As he mentioned, he could veto it or approve it.
Former Florida Representative Corrine Brown says she did not know anything about her former chief of staff stealing thousands of dollars. She took the stand in her own defense Thursday. Brown claims her former top aide, Elias Ronnie Simmons, betrayed her. Prosecutors say he got thousands of dollars for a sham charity. They want Brown to go to jail for funding her lavish lifestyle using the money. That's a claim she denies. An update to a story we broke to you yesterday morning. This is about a mobile meth lab discovered during a Cape Coral traffic stop. We have some more information. Officers, they stopped the car on Cape Coral Parkway East just before the Midpoint Bridge. They found a 1-pot meth production. It was inside a plastic bottle with a backpack covered in ice. Police say they're trained to look for these small but very dangerous operations like that one.
It's not uncommon to have mobile meth labs or meth labs that are stationary even suffer a catastrophic event where they explode.
Police set up a perimeter around the car while they safely dismantled the lab. All 4 people in the car, here they are. They were all arrested.
6:18 NBC2 Crime Alert. Authorities are looking for a burglar who spread dog's ashes all over a victim's carpet. The thief broke into homes on Biscayne Drive and Kindred Boulevard, stealing everything from electronics to clothes. NBC2 spoke with one of the victims here who says she came home to a nightmare Wednesday afternoon. She says someone broke through her lanai, smashed a window, then ransacked her home and did something worse.
A mess. My house was turned upside down. Sad that you have to live in such a beautiful area and you have a handful of people that want to come and try and take everything away from you.
If you have any information, you're asked to call the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office.
Some bottles of Bombay Sapphire Gin contain nearly double the advertised amount of alcohol. Canadian health authorities have launched a nationwide recall of the product. They say 6,000 bottles could be affected.
The late Trayvon Martin is getting his college degree. Martin was killed 5 years ago by George Zimmerman, a case that garnered worldwide attention. Martin was only 17 at the time. Well, Florida Memorial University will award him a posthumous bachelor's degree in aeronautical science. Trayvon Martin had wanted to become a pilot. His parents will accept the degree on his behalf at the school's commencement May 13th.
Unsecured web cameras have officials at a Canadian school on high alert this morning. School officials recently learned the video feed could be seen by anyone online. The unsecured surveillance camera footage is showing up on a Russian website. Now the school board is checking all of their security settings to make sure this is not going to happen again.
Massachusetts detectives released new information in the death of Aaron Hernandez. The former NFL player in prison for murdering his friend Odin Lloyd was found dead in his cell last month. He was hanging from a bedsheet, unclothed. The report indicates that Hernandez's walls had the words John 3:16 written in a substance consistent with blood. Investigators also found a Bible in the cell open to the same passage with the 16th verse marked in blood. Take a look at this insane head-on collision. It was caught on camera by a nearby school bus in Oklahoma. You can see a pickup truck cross the center lane here, then slams into an oncoming car. It comes to a rest right on the bus's bumper. This happened last week. 3 people were taken to a hospital with injuries and are expected to survive. No one on the bus was injured.
MSNBC's Morning Joe is engaged to his co-host. Host Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski will be husband and wife. They confirmed their engagement in an interview with Vanity Fair. This comes after they were sitting next to each other for hours every single day on weekday mornings. No wedding date has been set, but President Donald Trump has offered to officiate their wedding. Brzezinski, she politely just declined that offer to Vanity Fair. NASA and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration captured photos of lightning spotted from space. These images show storms over the Mississippi Valley and the southern plains. It was taken from Friday afternoon to Saturday night. At least 13 people were killed and dozens more injured after tornadoes and heavy flooding struck several states this past weekend. And the storms tore through Texas, Missouri, Arkansas, leaving just a trail of devastation behind. But boy, from space, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Wow. Chief Meteorologist Haley Webb joins us now. We have been hearing thunder, rain, all of that this morning.
Yeah, we've got some pretty strong storms that have been moving through southwest Florida this morning. Now, Charlotte and Lee County have been drying out while the heavier rain is coming down in Collier and deeper inland toward Hendry and parts of Glades County. So Naples, you've been picking up some rain. You're starting to see the heaviest of that rain pushing to the south and southeast. The toll booth, if you're going to be traveling along I-75 in the next couple of minutes, that's where we're seeing some of the heaviest rain. Sable Palm Road stretching back toward Naples Manor. Look farther to the northeast, Golden Gate Estates. You've got heavy rain as well as plenty of lightning there. Stretching all the way across Ave Maria on the southeast side of Immokalee and then continuing toward the northeast toward Moorhaven and Clewiston. We have some of these heavy showers and thunderstorms coming down and over on toward Lake Okeechobee. What we will continue with as we go through the next hour is that this rain will continue to push its way deeper toward our inland areas. We'll still get some downpours from the Gulf of Mexico to move into Collier County, but for the next hour, Lee, Charlotte, for the most part, we're looking at dry conditions there, and we're going to continue with the drying trend for the afternoon as well. Winds, you can see we've already had gusts of 16 to 32 miles per hour. It's going to stay windy as we go through the day today. We're going to get those gusts around 20, 25, even up toward 30 at times. So be ready for that. Here's our forecast mode as we continue through the rest of the morning. We can still get a few downpours to come across our area. Winds are going to turn west and west northwesterly. This is all happening with a cold front. As that moves out of the area by lunchtime, we're still looking at a lot of cloud cover, but only a couple of still lingering showers. Most of the rain is done. We'll continue the drying trend into the afternoon and even go toward partly cloudy skies by the time we get toward 5 p.m. Still keeping that breeze, though, coming in from the west. 81 degrees, that's all we'll get for the high today. That's quite a bit cooler than what we've gotten used to. Tomorrow we start at 64, go up to 82. We'll be partly cloudy. Sunday, lots of sunshine starting at 62 in the morning. That's the coolest morning, and going to 86 degrees that afternoon. We'll be back into the 90s next week. At 6:30, I'll have your planner for the day and your first alert forecast on the 2s.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by O'Brien Auto Park on the corner of Colonial and Metro. Or visit o'brieneasy.com.
Lee County Sheriff's Office is on scene of a crash in Bonita Springs on Bonita Beach Road and Windsor Road. There is a westbound roadblock, so just be aware if you're heading in that direction. And seeing some delays on State Road 82 in this area that we usually see delays every morning, heading northwestbound right into, as you head into Fort Myers. Right, we're at the intersection of Daniels Parkway and Gunnery Road. That's where we see those delays starting to build up, and they actually carry in both directions on Gunnery Road all the way up to Lee Boulevard, so be aware of that when you're heading out the door. I'm Amanda Skripchak with your NBC2 traffic alert.
624 from your Cape Coral News team. A pair of brothers are warning everyone to lock their windows this morning. Lee County deputies say Richard McDonald and Nan Sargent climbed through a stranger's window on Northwest 11th Street. The victim, Jamie Davis, says he chased the strangers into his living room after they crawled through his bedroom window. He met up with his brother on the other side of the home. That's when the men began beating McDonald up. Sargent, the woman, ran away while the men fought.
Thank God they didn't have a gun. Thank God it was a bat, because they could have shot me.
But police caught up to Sargent and arrested her. Both Sargent and McDonald are in the Lee County Jail. They are charged with burglary. McDonald also faces assault charges.
Here's something that can jumpstart your morning breakfast: a caffeinated bagel. It's called the Espresso Buzz Bagel. It's believed to be the world's first caffeinated bagel. It's now being sold by popular bagel chain Einstein Brothers. It features 32 milligrams of caffeine plus 13 grams of protein.
You know what? There you go, Haley. You don't like to drink coffee.
This is your chance, Haley, to feel as good as the rest of us in the morning.
There you
I think
go.
I already do. I think
you do.
You do.
Does it still taste like coffee, though?
Well,
probably.
Sure. Yeah, have to try it.
Yeah.
But
they call it the espresso one, so probably.
Yeah,
I'm
I guess so.
And I'm out.
Yeah. I'll pass on the coffee.
Haley
Just give me
says
the bagel.
water wakes her up just as much as caffeine. I'm like, well, then you haven't tried caffeine.
That's all right. Yeah. Get with the program.
Sorry.
6:25 right now. Just at 6:45 in 20 minutes. The search for thieves who hit multiple gated communities in Lee County. This morning, the focus of a county-wide sweep of drug dealers is on one man. Deputies say he owns a daycare. Just at 6:30, we're learning more about that arrest.
And Haley, these storms are more storms to come. She'll have the answer straight ahead on NBC2 News Today at 6:30. This may have woken you up this morning. Yeah, check this out. The sound of rain, thunder moving all throughout Southwest Florida.
Yeah, the First Alert Storm Team has been telling you, too, about this for a few days now, as forecasted here. NBC2 Chief Meteorologist Haley Webb joining us again with an updated forecast this morning. Much needed rain pushing through Southwest Florida. And behind it, too, not bad temperatures, right?
A little cool down, the kind of weather Clay gets excited about. Temperatures in the 80s. But yeah, we're starting off this morning with those thunderstorms moving through a pretty decent line of storms. You can see right here on our First Alert Live Doppler Radar Plus. Charlotte, Lee County are mainly dry right now. Deep inland areas stretching all the way through Collier County. We have this line of storms. As you look down toward Collier County, Naples Manor, you've got heavy rain stretching across Rattlesnake Hammock all the way toward Golden Gate Estates. Lighter showers in the Naples area as that heavy rain continues deeper inland. Stretching all the way toward Ave Maria and Immokalee, you've still got some heavy rain in your area. And then we've got those thunderstorms continuing farther to the northeast all the way toward Lake Okeechobee. And we're going to continue with this rain pushing its way toward the east. Moorhaven, you're starting to see that rain letting up just a bit. It's a little lighter now. Here's the Futurecast. Taking you through the next hour, we've got these downpours continuing inland, and yes, still some more rain that will be working its way onshore as you look toward Collier County. So we're still going to be picking up some rain there. The general trend is that most of what we get today is what comes early this morning. Here's your planner. We're 76 degrees at 8 a.m. with still a few of those showers and thunderstorms around the area. We're mainly cloudy at noon. Couple of showers linger, but the bulk of the rain is done. 77 degrees at that point. We top out in the lower 80s this afternoon. We'll be around 80 at 5 p.m. looking at those partly cloudy skies. Coming up at 6:42, I will continue tracking those storms and we'll look ahead to the weekend in your first alert forecast on the 2s.
Heads up, Lee County, there's a crash in Fort Myers on US 41, right where Ben C. Pratt, 6 Mile Cypress and Gladiolus Drive intersect. You can expect some delays in that area. And taking a look over on State Road 82, seeing those delays I first told you about just 10 minutes ago, they are now that your screen bright red, and those delays in your northwest direction are also carrying on to Gunnery Road all the way up to Lee Boulevard as you head towards Fort Myers and Daniels Parkway. I'm Amanda Scripcheck with your NBC2 traffic alert.
Breaking news, we are working to get information on a crash on the Edison Bridge overnight. This happened on the North Fort Myers side of the bridge. The road, it's open, but you can see there's damage. We did see emergency crews on scene. Right now, it's not clear if there are any injuries. We'll be sure to let you know once we find out this information.
6:31, NBC2 Crime Alert. We're learning more about a massive drug dealer roundup in Lee County involving a part-time owner of a daycare. D'Angelo Gary was one of 16 people picked up. The sheriff's office says he's one of the owners of End of the Rainbow Daycare. That's on Michigan Avenue and Raleigh Street. Our cameras are rolling too as deputies arrested suspects in Pine Manor and Harlem Heights. Investigators say the heroin, cocaine, and the meth seized has a street value of $90,000. Here's part of that roundup here. D'Angelo Gary's home is in a gated community near the Forum. Neighbors expressed concern for what else may have been going on right next door.
It's scary, you know, for people to be opening up a daycare and they selling drugs out of the daycare.
Authorities say the people arrested in this operation pose as legitimate business people like Gary. Those 16 have racked up 200 total combined arrests in the past. Some are expected to be in court today. Expect NBC2 to be there.
In razor close numbers, the House of Representatives passed the Republican health care bill. It passed 217 to 213. 20 Republicans voted against the law. No Democrats supported it. President Donald Trump and Republican leaders took turns praising their victory at the White House.
This is a repeal and a replace of Obamacare. Make no mistake about it. We're going to get this passed through the Senate. I feel so confident.
A big question as this bill heads to the Senate is what the impact will be on the deficit and on the American people. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office is still planning to score this bill. Their score of a previous version of the bill said it would leave 24 million people without health insurance by 2026. President Donald Trump experienced a bit of a delay for his first trip back to New York since he took office. President Trump put off his flight to meet with the Prime Minister of Australia and instead joined Republicans to celebrate the vote on repealing of Obamacare. Afterward, the scheduled hour-long meeting with the Prime Minister ended abruptly after 25 minutes. President Trump became irritated that the Prime Minister expected him to honor former President Obama's agreement to accept more than 1,200 Syrian refugees from Australia. Happening today, Punta Gorda Police Department Chief Tom Lewis is trying to get charges against him thrown out. The chief is facing culpable negligence charges in the shooting death of Mary Knowlton. She was shot and killed during a Citizens Academy by a different officer. Former Officer Lee Cole put real bullets in a gun instead of blanks. At today's hearing for Lewis, his attorneys will file a motion for dismissal of the charges, so he will not be charged in her death. NBC2 is uncovering a scam making its way around Collier County. Officials say that criminals, they're knocking on doors, pretending to be with the water department. They're trying to get inside your home. So they say they're there to check your water. Don't fall for it. People we spoke with, they'll understand why people are so trusting.
It's awful. Wow. I mean, people are just coming up with all kinds of ways, shady ways to make money.
The Collier County Water Department says employees will never knock on your door and ask to come into your house. If you're ever concerned about a worker, You can always ask for ID or just call the water department to verify.
6:35 celebration and defeat this morning for two groups hoping to get a high school in Lee County. A group in Gateway is claiming another victory this morning after they say the board voted 9-0 in favor of building in the area. An Alva group says on their page people need to get more involved. Now the superintendent will take the advisory board's recommendation to the school board where a new high school is expected to be built, and that vote will go to a vote next month. Once again, nothing has been finalized, but that's what will be happening from the superintendent. A Naples tradition is back this year. The Great Dock Canoe Race is tomorrow. The Naples Junior Chamber will keep the 40-year-old event alive. Last year's organizer pulled out. Tomorrow's events start at 9 a.m. with a theme: canoe registration.
Crush some ice, break out the fancy hats and the seersucker suits. The 143rd Run for the Roses is set to hit the gates tomorrow. It's the greatest 2 minutes in sports.
It is. NBC2's Jay Gray is live at Churchill Downs for us in Louisville, Kentucky with all the excitement. And Jay, I tell you what, you have never looked so dapper.
Love the bow tie.
Love it.
Well, Clay, Rachel, I've never looked so something. Look, I want to apologize to the viewers at home. Problem's not with your set. This is the Blazer. Where do you start here? The jockeys, the trainers, the owners, they all say this is by far the biggest event in their sport. For fans, the Derby's not just a race or a day. It's a 2-week festival, and the ponies, well, they're only part of the show here.
It's about horses, hats,
I got half my money back.
the odds, and all the hype.
Well, it's definitely high energy, but I think it's the history of it all. I mean, it's just a magical event. It's our Super Bowl.
Kickoff for the Kentucky Derby isn't until Saturday, but the excitement and party here builds all week, something jockeys say even the horses can sense during training.
They're usually pretty fired up when they get step onto the track, and they obviously they feel the energy.
Energy from a crowd that's not always focused on the track.
The horse racing part is just secondary. It's a place to sort of see and be seen.
And what you see is, well, unique.
There's so much pageantry and tradition.
Tradition topped off by a hat. And at the Derby, bigger is always better.
You need something that's larger than life, whether it's like the size of it or, or like the color of it. You need something that's going to pop above, like your normal everyday.
And there is nothing normal or everyday about the Run for the Roses.
And guys, hats not only for the ladies anymore, though, Rachel, Clay, I'm really not sure they're for me either. Back to you.
I think you look great. Jay, you've been out on the track, and Always Dreaming is partly owned by Joe Blancato of Naples.
Yeah.
What do you think about Always Dreaming's chances, and,
Right.
and who's your favorite to make it to the winner's circle?
Look, very good for Always Dreaming. In fact, a lot of the people here and a lot of the money at the track starting to trend towards Always Dreaming, which is 5-1 going out. 4-1 is Classic Empire. That's the favorite. But again, a lot of people really looking at Always Dreaming as a possible winner here at the Derby. If you're looking for a long shot, you want to make some money off of a small bet, take a look at Hints. Hints may be a horse you should watch tomorrow afternoon.
All right, Jay Gray, save that suit for Easter Sunday next year. I think it would look good for Easter Sunday as well. All right, Jay, thanks for joining us there at the Kentucky Derby. We should tell you, too, the Derby is going to be a record breaker one way or another. Hopefully that rain gets out of there. NBC2 will have a record 5-hour broadcast tomorrow right here on NBC2. Coverage begins at 2:30. Post time is at 6:34. I'd have to have quite a few mint juleps to put that suit on, I think.
Yeah, you can pull it off. Jay did, you could too.
Yeah, look good, yeah.
The hottest toy right now, actually developed by a woman in Florida.
Yeah, just added 6:47. NBC2 discovered she's not seeing a dime from this popular toy. And at 6:45, thieves hitting gated communities in South Lee County. Now this morning, who you should be on the lookout for. And straight ahead, Chief Meteorologist Haley Webb is back, continuing to track this line of storms rolling through Southwest Florida. We'll update your forecast in the 2s at 6:42.
Good morning. It is 6:42. It's time for your first alert forecast on the 2s. And this is our first alert live Doppler radar. And what we're seeing this morning with our real-time red radar sweep, the only live radar in Southwest Florida, we've got a line of thunderstorms working its way through the area. Now, Charlotte, Lee County, you've already seen the heaviest of your storms. Still just a couple of spotty little showers in that southern portion of Lee County right there along the coastline. But the heavier rain is farther south and deeper inland. Take a look along Sable Palm Road, stretching up across 75. Also the Naples Manor area. You've got some showers with some heavier rain starting to try to move in. Golden Gate Estates, big thunderstorm for you on the east side, and that stretches all the way across Ave Maria. You're starting to see some improvement in Immokalee. And then continuing off to the northeast, you've got heavy rain and thunderstorm activity stretching all the way toward Clewiston. Improving conditions in Moorhaven, where the rain is starting to get a little bit lighter. Storms still over Lake Okeechobee. The trend as we go through the next hour using our Futurecast showing you we get these storms to continue deeper inland. We still get more rain feeding in from the Gulf of Mexico, impacting mainly Collier and Hendry County through the next hour. As we continue through the rest of the day today, the bulk of the rain is what we're getting this morning, and then we'll get a drying trend toward the afternoon. Gusts with our winds have already been 16 to 33 miles per hour. We'll get more of those wind gusts as we continue through the day today, so expect a bit of a windy day. Our winds will shift and come in from the west-northwest behind this rain, and that is going to keep sending in some cooler air. 81 degrees will be our high today. We're 82 tomorrow and 86 on Sunday. At 6:52, a look ahead into next week in your first alert forecast on the 2s.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by O'Brien Auto Park on the corner of Colonial and Metro. Or visit o'brieneasy.com.
There's a crash in Fort Myers on US 41, right at the where 41 intersects with Ben C. Pratt and Gladiolus Drive. Seeing some delays building up in your westbound direction, so just be aware if you're heading in that direction as well. Also, a crash in Bonita Springs. The LCSO is on scene. There are at Bonita Beach Road and Windsor Road. There are westbound roadblocks in both lanes in that direction. Now, taking a quick look outside at I-75 and Golden Gate Parkway in Collier County. Roads looking good right now, but we are seeing some lightning flashing in the area, so just be aware of that. I'm Amanda Skripchek with your NBC2 Traffic Alert.
Time right now, 6:45 at NBC2 Crime Alert. Burglars hit two gated communities in Lee County. They were targeting cars. One community is Avalon Bay off Gladiolus, and the other is Reflection Lakes off Cypress Lake Drive. The Lee County Sheriff's Office says multiple cars were hit at each location. The break-ins happened between Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. Deputies went door to door in Avalon Bay to check who was all targeted.
I'm not concerned. I can't be concerned because it would drive you nuts.
The sheriff's office says nothing was taken and that all of the cars that were rummaged through were unlocked.
A Naples woman was shocked when she paid almost $45 for less than a gallon of gas. It happened to Allie Coleman in Naples. She used her debit card to at a gas pump on Pine Ridge Road. She suddenly noticed that she was paying this really incredibly high price. So she ended up paying $44.59 for less than a gallon of fuel. When she realized what happened, she went inside and asked them to fix it. But the clerk inside told her to call her bank instead.
You think that they would be able to retract that automatically. And I just feel like it should have just been handled better by the attendant.
So Allie did contact Bank of America for the refund, but she received a letter from the bank denying her claim. And they say it's because she initiated the transaction. But after NBC2 called Bank of America, now they're looking deeper into the issue. The gas station did not return our call.
6:46, a Cape Coral woman snapped an unusual picture. A lizard perched right above a burrowing owl's nest. This is on the corner of Southwest 40th Terrace and 13th Avenue. Biologists tell us this is a spiny-tailed iguana. While not as vicious as a monitor lizard, it's still invasive and it's a meat eater. While a treat to see, neighbors there now worry the lizard could kill the owls in the nest.
When we walked here and he was 8 feet away from me, it doesn't give you the creeps, but you just got to realize, hey, this is part of Southwest Florida.
No owls have been hurt at that nest so far. The city set a trap for the iguana early yesterday morning.
The maker of the toy your kids are finding so popular is making no money off of it. Catherine Hedinger. She lives in Orlando. She first invented the fidget spinner 2 decades ago, but it just wouldn't take off. Now the toys that come in different designs, different colors, some of them light up. They've hit the mass market after her patent expired earlier this year. Hasbro now sells the toys 20 years after denying the original product. So she had gone to them. They said, nah. Now they're selling them.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
not paying her. I know. What a bummer for
That is a
her.
bummer.
Well, and get this, it's because she.
Oh, yeah, because you talked
I was
about
talking
the
about this.
story yesterday, yeah.
She had in I think it was 2005, had the opportunity to renew her patent for $400 and couldn't pay that $400.
Well, she probably thought, well, I was sitting on it for 20 years and nothing happened. I'm not going to dump more money into this, but.
I wonder what she thinks when she sees kids walking around with the things. She probably just.
Actually, she's actually excited about it. She's got a good attitude about it. So
that's good.
Even though she's not a millionaire. All right, 6:48 is your time right now. Just ahead, we're going to run down your morning top stories.
Yep, Haley's of course tracking the storms right now that are rolling through Southwest Florida. There they are on the radar. Haley will be back in 2 minutes with the forecast in the 2. Stay with us.
Good morning. It is time for your first alert forecast on the 2s. And this is our first alert live Doppler radar plus showing you that Charlotte and most of Lee County looking pretty dry. A few spotty showers in southern Lee County down toward Bonita Springs. But then we've got this line of some heavier thunderstorms working their way across the area. The rain now is mainly just south of Naples all the way down toward Marco Island. Naples Manor getting some of the heavy rain stretching across Sable Palm Road and I-75. Continuing just on the east side of Golden Gate Estates. You've got some lighter showers over much of the estates. And then the heavier downpours just starting to slide their way across and exit toward the east of Ave Maria. Continuing on to the northeast, you still have some heavy rain near Clewiston, thunderstorms there as well. Some lightning in with that. And it continues over Lake Okeechobee. The trend as we go through the next hour with our Futurecast showing you these storms continue deeper inland. We do get more of this rain to work its way into Collier County. Much of the area, Charlotte, Lee County will be mainly dry. You could still get a spotty shower in those locations. Here's the bigger picture with our forecast mode. I think it might be overdoing this a little bit as far as that Lee County rain at 8 o'clock, but the trend is that you get a few more of these showers, a downpour or two that come across our area. By midday, we're looking at most of that rain coming to an end and kind of exiting out of the area. Winds will be coming in mainly from the west. We'll get gusts today around 20 to 30 miles per hour. It stays windy all day. And by 5 p.m., we're starting to see some breaks for a little bit of sunshine to come out of those partly cloudy skies. 81 degrees. That's it for our high today. So we are going to be cooler today. 64 tomorrow morning with a high of 82 with partly cloudy skies. By Sunday, we start at 62 and go up to 86. Next week, we'll work our way back into the lower 90s. That's your forecast.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by O'Brien Auto Park on the corner of Colonial and Metro. Or visit o'brieneasy.com.
Heads up, Lee County seeing a lot of delays building up in the area. One that you might want to be aware of is there's a crash at US 41 right where Gladiolus Drive intersects with Ben C. Pratt and 6 Mile. Seeing delays in both the east and westbound directions, so just be aware of that. And if you're taking the Caloosahatchee Bridge into Fort Myers or North Fort Myers, you might want to hop over to the Edison Bridge. We're seeing some delays building right as you get to Pondella Road in both your north and southbound directions. I'm Amanda Skripchak with your NBC2 Traffic Alert.
Time right now, 6:54. These are the stories we're following on air and online at NBC-2.com. An 8-acre brush fire in Cape Coral is 100% contained this morning. It started off Pine Island Road near Burnt Store Road and forced the evacuation of a senior living facility. The cause is under investigation. A reminder, a burn ban is in place in Cape Coral and for Lee County entirety.
This morning marks 1 week since a reservoir began pumping water into Cape Coral's system. A reservoir in Punta Gorda is sending water to a drainage pipe. The water is traveling along US 41 and into the Gator Slough. More than 17 million gallons per day are being pumped into the system. To use the reservoir permanently could cost anywhere between $32 and $38 million.
Lee County deputies arrested 16 suspected drug dealers in a major crime bust. There they are, including this guy, D'Angelo Gary. He is a part-time business owner of a daycare. Deputies say that daycare was a front for heroin, cocaine, and other drug dealing. NBC2 was there as they raided D'Angelo's home in a gated neighborhood, as well as this, too. These are homes being raided in Pine Manor and Harlem Heights.
The man accused of kidnapping and sexually assaulting a 5-year-old Lee County girl previously dated the victim's mother. She told police, William Cole said he was taking the girl to the Home Depot on Tuesday night, but never came home. It was around 6 p.m. The girl was found, that was around 6 p.m. and then she was found Wednesday morning before 5. DCF is investigating.
Cape Coral police discovered a mobile meth lab during a traffic stop. It's on Cape Coral Parkway East, just before the Midpoint Bridge. Police also found other drugs and guns in the car. Police set up a perimeter around the car while they safely dismantled the lab. All 4 people in the car were arrested.
The 143rd annual Kentucky Derby is tomorrow, and you can watch it right here on NBC2. 20 horses will be on the track, including one colt that is part owned by a man in Naples. The horse's name? Always Dreaming. And that horse could pull out a win. NBC2 will have a record 5-hour broadcast. It begins at 2:30. Post time is 6:34.
That's right. Enjoy that, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night at 6:34. Happening right now. Is it safe to say those areas that have already seen that rain move through pretty much out of the woods, or?
Mostly out of the woods.
Okay.
There can still be a few showers that come in.
Okay.
However, the stray showers that we get behind this line will not be as strong,
Like that.
not likely to have as much thunder and lightning in with them either. The line of rain that you see there from Marco Island up toward Naples and stretching deeper inland is going to continue to push its way inland. But that means that rain sitting toward the Gulf will kind of work its way into Collier County, some of those heavier storms. The better chance for rain is what we get early this morning, and then we'll be drying out this afternoon, setting us up for cooler weather today and through the weekend.
And some good news in Collier County on I-75 and mile marker 104 right after the Golden Gate Parkway exit. Looking like that rain is kind of clearing up like Haley had mentioned, and should be smooth sailing as you drive this morning.
Well, next on Today's Show, what exactly is in the new health care bill and how the Republican plan could affect you.
Be safe.